I like how the start of this chapter is like, who the fuck is this guy? No one gives a fuck, just beat him up like that. It's like the cold citizens are just like, oh, I wonder what the fuck is going on. Who cares? He's beating up the baddie. Just fucking clap and just go. He's doing a cool form right now. That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. Apart from that, the entire city is trying to fucking kill us right now with a bunch of strings. And I just like how fucking Frank is just standing there as like the strings are just going and it's like, oh, all these Tontaras are getting murdered. It's just this whole big building because it can't fucking like be destroyed because it's made of like sea prism stone. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, it's just being swept around, so we can't really do shit about this. And it's just like, oh, Soros is going to try to cut the strings just to buy some fucking time. And it's just like, I just like, all this stuff just felt so meaningless. And it's like, just go back to fucking Luffy. That's all we want to see. We don't care about no one else right now. And it's like, one thing that we did get clarified a lot more about Gear 4 is that definitely Luffy cannot maintain this form at all for like any amount of time. Like he is really on the tip of like I can barely keep this form up. Like, you know, Gear 4 is really ending. And I wonder if there's gonna be like a consequence like I don't think Gear 3 sort of like levels where he turns into a child, but I want to think like, oh, maybe he becomes like human, like he can't use his elasticity at all, like throughout like the fight. That's something I'd like to think like he becomes human for like that new fucking like Superman power where he like expels all the sunlight and his energy and then he becomes like human for a day or two. I think that's like a big consequence, like using maybe like Gear 4 or something, or maybe he's just like down for a little while. So from what we saw, it's like where he's like going in, he's like, yo, double fucking cavalry cannon, just keep fucking doing that fucking one at the end, that line, like the Leo, like cannon where he's doing like the Kamehameha kind of like pose like that. I was like, that's a really cool fucking technique, Luffy. Like, hopefully that fucking knocks him out. But one of the bigger questions that was happening for this chapter was like, oh, fucking Doflamingo can just make string from the ground. It's like, oh, Devil Fruits can do more than that. There's a whole possibility. So after awakening, and it's like, what? There's like another stage to like Devil Fruits now. Like there's like after you've like unlocked like a hidden potential from him, or you've like finally done something, some weird creepy shit. Like maybe that's something that went on with Blackbeard. Maybe since he went for an awakening with his previous Devil Fruit, it's like, oh, by the way, I can just absorb another one right now. That's could be the like explanation, but then as well, like, could Luffy have something like this where he's like, if he awakens with his elasticity, like maybe he can like, I don't know, turn the fucking area around him like elastic, or like that's curious, especially like. But it felt like it was just like adding around about the end of this, like, oh, by the way, Doflamingo can do more shit now. It's just to make him more fucking powerful because the strings wasn't powerful enough as him like able to walk through the fucking sky and shit like that. So it's like, I guess in a way, and it's like your powers as awakened, it doesn't only affect you, but the things around you as well. So it's like everything around like Doflamingo, it's like turning into like fucking string and like either like Luffy's like he's not Parasyte, like he's not a type anymore. Like he can just do whatever the fuck he wants. He could make his whole body into fucking strings and shit like that. He can do anything he pretty much wants to do. So that's something hopefully at the end of this fight, maybe we might get a little bit of explanation with. But knowing Oda, he's probably going to drag on for another 300-400 chapters before we find out what the fuck he actually meant by that. So I'm kind of curious about what exactly could that entail, like what is really going to go. But it's like, you know, I like, you know, King Riku is like, yo, just fucking live on, people. You know, we got some of them right now. Luffy, he's trying to fuck some people up now. Just go. You know, there's always hope. Go on. It's just like, I was like, I don't know, every time I see like citizens or like anyone that isn't the fucking straw hacker at this point, it's like, stop wasting fucking battles. I don't care. Like, I want to see Luffy's gear forth. I don't give a fuck about any of this other stuff. And the people like already know what I said right now is like, I generally don't care about anything like a lot about Dressrosa apart from some moments in it here and there. But you know, from what another thing that we got clarified is that Luffy can now just use haki around his entire body like Virgo. Like, even though we saw, like, you know, parts of his body was, like, in haki, we saw, like, Luffy's, like, head and, like, everything else was just going fucking nuts. And then he's like, oh, yeah, here you go. Fucking Leo Bazooka. And just, like, fucking just smashes Doflamingo. But honestly, I don't think he's down. I think, like, maybe, like, Luffy's probably going to need a hand from fucking someone else to actually go around there. Because I generally doubt that fucking Doflamingo is just defeated from that. Like, it's like, you built up this arc for so long, and it's a cool fight, don't get me wrong, but it should be longer. Like, we've had, like, like, I'm not asking for a fucking Pika fight here, but regardless of what, like, even still, it's like, I want something that's at least long, like, that lasts a while, and it's actually interesting and cool, but it's like, other than that, really cool chapter. Gonna give this one an 8 this week. Really enjoyed it, but that's all from me. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.